Batrider, even if he gets a bunch more items, isn't going to do that much more damage or have that much more impact. And it's kind of the same story for the Tinies. So now they're going to jump in, look towards March. Yull is even over in the opposite side of the trees. They're going to even use the song for this. At the very least, Naga should survive, but Batrider long dead. Naga can keep pushing out top. They should actually be able to fight mid, right? They could just Dark Rift over there. I don't see any real reason to offer GeekFam a trade at this stage. That just seems like a bad move. With no song, there's just... I don't think there's any way to kill the Slark. He's gonna come in. He knows that he does have to be a little bit afraid of some sentries. Being very careful, keeping inside the Shadow Dance region. They're gonna jump in here now with Afro. Moosh gets a 2-man bar strike down. They lose the Disruptor immediately, and Skid, he tries to slide himself up onto the high ground, but he's already hit by the pounce. Double kill immediately for Ajit. They don't even need to bring the rest of the team. The rest of Clutch Gamer is just gonna stay down bottom, get through the tier 1. Exorcism duration still running for the tier 2. Super easy back-to-back. You can't even use their glyph for the tier 2 because they know that they need to hold it for the potential high ground, but Clutch now up to a 10k net worth lead. And GeekFam looking very shaky.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I'll take that.
Got Echo Saber up on Tiny now. We're going back for the blink. But Geek are just so afraid of the Slark and the pickoffs that they're being forced to 5-man and just fall further and further behind. Ajit now getting donated a gem by his Ancient Apparition. He's just going to be able to D-ward everywhere. He's only got the point booster to farm for his Scotty, at which point he'll be rocking, what, like 2.5k hit points? Yeah, sorry, it's double delayed, guys, because I'm just casting off the in-game, and then the stream is also delayed. It'll be the correct amount of delay for the next game. This lobby launched well before the scheduled starting time, so I'm not actually in the lobby, unfortunately.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Alright, Clutch gonna come pushing mid. GeekFam, looks like they are gonna go for the back. Oh god, don't invite me to the party. I probably need to go offline.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Alright, I got the lasso over onto the Sand King. Would be good if they could burst down Afromush, but he's actually still surviving. They've got the pipe, they've got the Crimson Guard. They just don't have the damage. They're going to toss the Slark back, but that's exactly where he wants to be. Ajit just going to pick up the godlike streak as he's now running forward, looking towards March. The Blink Dagger still being cancelled. The Pounce not going to connect, but he loses his Firefly. They will end up losing the Death Prophet. Skid finally finds a little bit of an opportunity to turn around as he now has his back to the high ground, but Ajit still wants to head up. Takes one pot shot at the tier 3. GeekFam do end up losing 3 heroes. But while Sniper survives, it is still going to be difficult to push up to the high ground. And bottom lane is being threatened. They're back up. They keep farming. Grab some more items. Sniper not doing terribly, but as we've seen, when the Crimson Guard is up, it's actually fairly difficult for Sniper to have to do all the damage by himself. And they're still struggling to do anything on the map. The vision situation is just abysmal. This is... As a support player, I'm so glad that Slark has been out of the meta recently, because this is just your life as a support playing against Slark. You got no control over the map. There's no wards up. Everybody's running together holding hands because you don't want to get picked off. You don't want to just keep feeding him. I do have a gem up on the Naga, but look at this. Everyone's just protecting the Sniper, watching him farm. That's all that they can really do. Death Prophet gonna have a BKB before too long. Will be much more difficult to deal with at that stage. Probably goes for a Shiva shortly after that, just to help against the the sniper damage. Slark, I don't know what Ajit is considering. Maybe just like a Basher or Abyssal Blade. Nullifier, also not too bad. So this is what I get for missing the lobby, guys. Everything goes to hell. Alright. Roshan number 2. Aegis and Cheese. GeekFam do have a pretty decent lineup to contest around the Roshan pit. That Nagasire is pretty scary, but Aegis already up on the Slark. I don't think they're going to be able to contest this. Should just start running back towards their base. And they will do so. Got to go get these other lanes pushed out. Bottom lane's pushing towards them. Top lane's actually pushing away, but Slark's going to go and shove that one. So I would guess that Clutch probably just chill out for a little bit. Wait for the Exorcism to come back off cooldown.
I'll take your tribute.
Ajit actually just gonna grab himself a blink. Alright. I mean, the Shadow Blade's not gonna get him onto the enemy high ground to find the sniper, so why not? Also gonna queue up a butterfly after that. March. I mean, he's stuck, but he doesn't really have anything else to do, so he's just chilling up here for now. And it looks like Clutch would like to try and high ground up top, potentially. I think it's actually the easiest lane for Dire to push because you can put down this ward up here. But they go on March, trying to make his escape. No chance, pounced on, and that is the Beyond Godlike streak for the Slark. Does have a buyback available, only dead for 40 seconds. No glyph on the GeekFam side. And Tiny about to show over at mid. You still need to be a little bit careful of that teamfight combination. There's that possibility. But I don't think they're really going to be presenting too many heroes up onto the high ground. Should just be the Underlord and the Slark, though. Faded also in position. He does have a BKB, so he even if he gets gone, he's not at too much risk. And now the Disruptor getting jumped. They are going to pop the song. Should be able to find the Static Storm at least onto the Sand King, but he does have a Burst Strike and might even be able to walk his way out of it. Afterwards doesn't even care. They just pop the pipe and they're going to be fine. Ajit's in the back lines. He's already managed to kill one, taking some damage, but still has a Shadow Dance. Tiny buying back into the game. Skid getting run at. Ajit does need to be a little bit careful now. Needs to blink and rejoin his team. Afromoosh looks like he's fine. A little bit of damage on the Skylark. Nice blink dagger just joint there on the Assassinate. And pass him the cheese. Time for round 2. Those AoE ultimates are down. Clutch still have pretty much everything in reserve. The Exorcism's back now. And they're just going to go straight up onto the high ground. 10 seconds to go on Crimson Guard. Tier 3 about to fall. Ajit, nice jump forward. Gets the blink off in time. Skid's going to be taken out of the game. Buys back. What can they actually do? They've got the lasso onto the Slark. He breaks it pretty much immediately. The Tiny getting kited. The Exorcism doing big damage. They need to find some space for this sniper. They got Afrobush waiting up in the trees. He force steps forward, gets the Burst Strike out onto 2. March along with the Tiny both getting locked down. Skylark can't get too much further forward. Ajit also being held at arm's length, but Clutch Gamers getting what they came for. Top lane of Rax completely cleared out. GeekFam trying to find some follow-up kills. They know that the Exorcism is about to fade, but they have to protect the sniper. Ajit finds him. They don't have any way to save him now. That's a dieback. Ajit still just getting stack after stack after stack. 18, 19, 20. Now the Tiny's dead. On to the next one. Doesn't even get any off of the Disruptor. The rest of the team has more than enough damage. And looks like they're just setting up shop. Rotate over towards mid. Slark, not really a sieging hero, but when you pick up enough stacks, still pretty scary. Oh, he's actually even just looking for the kill on March here. Alright. Is this just where you call it, GeekFam? Did they recover their gem? They did. I should check if the next lobby is actually up already.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, this... 27k net worth lead.
Has fallen. Dire's bottom tower
He's still not calling it, though. Just Slark fountain camping. Nope. He gets tossed back. He's still got the Aegis, still got the Shadow Dance. He's out of there.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
Alright, Geek want one last fight, but the sniper's immediately going to get annihilated. Jumped on by the double blink daggers. Still no good game called. Tiny gonna try for the combo onto y'all. Does manage to get it. A little bit of a moral victory, but he's still gonna die shortly afterwards. Ajit keeping everybody away. What can they even do? Alright, GG call. I need to get into the next lobby.
Radiant victory.
Made it. I don't know. Let's wait. Is the draft order accurate? Let's have a look. We can have a look at the scoreboard. Ah, these pick order things are broken for captain's mode, I think. Anywho. I'm still so discombobulated about the fact that this game kind of started out of the blue. But that wraps it up for game 1, guys, of Clutch Gamers versus GeekFam. There won't be additional delay anymore now. So the reason that it was delayed is because I was casting while spectating, but now I'm actually in the lobby, so everything is now right with the world. Ajit Slark, what more are you going to say? 17-1-9, very convincing performance. GeekFam definitely needed some... I don't know. They needed a slightly different plan there. There were always going to be... I mean, even if you ban the Slark, there's always going to be some kind of hero that can jump the sniper as a late pick. They could have picked a PA and probably would have accomplished a lot of the same things, though it wouldn't have been as good. At lane against the Batrider, I think March had a pretty hard time. So that's going to wrap it up for game 1, guys. As you can see, the lobby for game 2 is already up and filling fast. I would imagine that we only have a very short break. So make sure you stick around. This is the MDL Changsha Major SEA Qualifiers. We're up in the upper bracket. GeekFam versus Clutch, game 2 coming up soon.
Seconds remaining.
Yes, like no time for music. Welcome back, guys. This is game 2, GeekFam versus
remaining.
Clutch. You all know where we are. I just outroed 30 seconds ago, but I guess maybe for the sake of the VODs, this is MDL SEA Qualifiers, GeekFam versus Clutch. Winner goes on to play Fnatic a little bit later. It seems like they are just playing the games more or less as quickly as they can, so we may actually just be heading straight out of this series into the next one unless the winner needs a little bit of extra time. Looking pretty good for GeekFam right now, taking game 1 in pretty convincing fashion. Are either team missing any players?
5 seconds
so Clutch,
remaining.
no, that's their full roster. I mean, Faded and Ajit are listed as stand-ins, but they're just not on the official roster just yet. And GeekFam, I believe Skid is actually a stand-in.
Dire team back.
It would seem that way. They have everybody except for Teehee, which I'm not sure if that's Teehee. So it seems like GeekFam may be playing with a stand-in for this one, unfortunately for them. What do we got? Let's pull up the. I'm gonna pull up the draft for the previous game so I know what happened there.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
We're gonna. This Nature's Prophet ban has been very popular in SCA so far. Not completely unsurprising, but.
Radiant team pick.
It's surprising to see that it's gained so much momentum so quickly. But that always seems to be the case with certain things in SCA. Like when everybody was, when Sand King was all the rage, everybody jumped on it right away. I'd kind of like to see it played actually, but I guess it's gonna get banned a whole bunch. I would guess that most teams have just still been running it as position 5. It is definitely a very strong laning hero, and this patch, despite some changes, is still very much a laning patch. So yeah, it was an absolute last pick Slark in the previous game. Clutch opened with a well, there was a tiny overall first pick. We had an AA Death Prophet response from Clutch. Then the Disruptor came out. They picked Sniper last, even with the Sand King on the field, and then Slark came out and made life hard. They banned the Phantom Lancer, which is another good. The Tiny, they get their hands on the Ancient Apparition this time around. Don't have the most ridiculous amount of setup for it just yet, but it is nice to have with the Tiny potentially. He's running around, he Shadow Blades up, throw an Ice Blast from across the map, get a quick Avatos combo, and that's killing heroes for a very long time. Though Clutch fire back with the Lifestealer. Well prepared to kind of deal with it. What else? Bat actually is going to be banned here. I guess Clutch definitely looking for a vehicle of some sort. It is going to have to kind of come from the off lane. I don't know if they really want to pick Puck. Puck comes to mind a little bit against Ancient Apparition, but at the same time, you don't really want to be playing Puck into Tiny. It's a pretty miserable overall game matchup. You just kind of die and die and die. So could still happen if they're desperate to have somebody to chuck the Lifestealer inside. But at the same time, I don't even know if Lifestealer 100% needs to have that vehicle. Could still just end up seeing kind of some kind of a Radiance build this game. Terrablade's already been banned. In terms of other good matchups against the Lifestealer, there's still a Razor in the pool, I suppose, which could be a little bit annoying. But that's the nice thing about this, the Radiance build, that you can, even into some of these counters, there's still kind of ways to build around it and still have quite a lot of impact as Lifestealer. I think the general philosophy very much, if you're going to get kited, you may as well do some damage. And it seems to be working for a lot of teams. So GeekFam probably just grabbed their position 4 here. No, actually grabbing quite an early Queen of Pain. I mean, Clutch can still very easily pick up a Disruptor, a Lion. I like the Queen of Pain against Tusk. I mean, it's hard for Tusk to pressure you on the mid lane, but with the way that mid lane works these days anyway, it's already pretty hard for position 4s to pressure that lane. I don't even know if this is going to be a mid quap. I'm even leaning towards hoping that it's some kind of off lane quap or something like that. They're going to match it up against the Tusk. The Tusk Lifestealer, but now there's the Lion, so I think at this stage Clutch actually have enough lockdown to be able to kill the Queen of Pain, whatever lane she's going to be going to. It is going to take them, the Tusk and the Lion both being there, so if the Quap knows where either one of those two heroes are, she will be able to play up a little bit more. But then the thing is that you
5
have
seconds
a
remaining.
Quap as your offlaner. The puck did get banned, so I guess maybe this is the backup plan in terms of having a very mobile offlaner that can kind of survive against what Clutch have put together. Because this is a terrifying defensive tri lane, but this is a terrifying safe lane to match up against if you're an offlaner. The Lifestealer is already hard enough to lane against for most offlaners, and then the Tusk Lion have so much lockdown and so much damage. It's very few heroes that can do anything in that situation. So I guess GeekFam felt kind of pressured. But their lineup still doesn't really have a whole lot of cohesion just yet. They got some burst, they got some magical damage, but not a whole lot of lockdown. And I don't know how they're going to remedy that. Like, what are we looking at? Are they gonna pick Void safe? Or I don't think Earth Spirit's looking too impressive. What other position 4s are we gonna look at here? I think Earthshaker is kind of just bad. So tough call. Oh yeah, also ignore that it says 2017 up top, guys. This is the Changsha Major SCA qualifiers. This is not a rebroadcast. But GeekFam, I don't know, stuck scratching their heads a little bit. They come back with the Naga Siren. It's a position 4 with some lockdown. It has some synergy against the Ancient Apparition. It has some synergy with the Ancient Apparition, sorry, but I don't know. Now they don't really have a whole lot of
10 seconds
setup.
remaining.
Like, Naga Siren setup is just walking up to you and very slowly casting net,
5
which is
seconds remaining.
not very reliable for finding kills in the early game. She's certainly a good laning hero, but Clutch now have all of the intel, more or less, about what the GeekFam tri-lane consists of. So they can pick an offlaner that they feel like is going to get something out of that lane. What exactly that hero is, I'm not sure. I don't know if they could pick like an Underlord. The Underlord would actually be pretty decent, though I think he'd probably die quite a bit early.
Team back.
Dragon Knight.
Clutch just gonna go for a Dragon Knight, get some tanky heroes, beef up. DK a little bit better against magical damage now than he used to be. Fairly high strength hero. Get that little bit of extra magic resist, so that's always nice. And
10 seconds
at the
remaining.
moment, I feel like their 5-on-5 is just stronger than what GeekFam have. They've got the Naga Siren, but they don't have
seconds
anything to really
remaining.
do with the Naga. Like, they're not really setting up for anything. This is potentially where
Team
something like
back.
the Void is alright. We are going to see that Underlord being banned. I think even though they could deal with it in lane, kind of, it's just so annoying in terms of the overall game plan. Having that extra survivability. And the root is actually quite annoying for the Quap to play against as well. Even Tiny.
10
These are both
seconds
heroes that
remaining.
are fairly reliant on their mobility to do sustained damage in a fight. You
5
want to come in, you
seconds
drop some
remaining.
spells, you walk away a little bit because you picked the right angle to get out, then you you reset, you get to drop some more spells, and Underlord just shuts that down, along with a lot of the other lockdown that Clutch gamers have going for themselves. Dragon Knight could get an early blink, we could see a Shadow Blade on him. Tons of options, very standard stuff. So what do you ban? What are you worried about? I mean, GeekFam could try and do something like they could put the Tiny safe, and then they could still fit an Enigma in the lineup somewhere. Dragon Knight seems to do just fine against Tiny mid. Dragon Knight does just fine in either of these two mid matchups, either DK versus Quap or DK versus Tiny. So that's
Dire
not too
team
much of a
pick.
concern. They don't have that much AoE, so I don't mind the Phantom Lancer ban, but the GeekFam, this last pick is gonna have to really do some work.
Team pick.
As Clutch Gamers, I thought it was going to be... I really thought it would be one of your more like sustainy, survivable offlaners, but it is just going to be Pugna. Could be DK offlane and Pugna mid, but I'm thinking probably just Pugna offlane this game.
10 seconds remaining.
Actually going to be kind of annoying. If they can get a net on him, they
5
can certainly get a kill
remaining.
with the cold feet. But they have so much early building damage now. And alright, GeekFam will just end up going for the Void, so... It's good, it gives them some combo potential with the Naga Siren, it's good with the Ancient Apparition, but it's also kind of slow, I think is the only concern here. I'm not sure if the Lifestealer is going to go for the Radiance build. I have seen the Radiance build against Void be fairly successful, because once you get Radiance and Solar Crest, it's actually very difficult for Void to do anything to you inside of Chrono, but the Radiance build would give Void a little bit more time to kind of get his items online and do his thing, so... There are decisions to be made here on both sides. I would imagine that Ajit's just going to go for sort of your... I guess you don't want Armlet against Ancient Apparition, there's just no way, remaining. So maybe we just see SNY Deso, something along those lines. Okay, looks like it is going to be, what? Queen of Pain heading mid, Tiny to the offlane. Ooh, how is Tiny going to play in the offlane? I guess they have to give him the Naga Siren to help out. But if they give the offlane one of the supports to help him, then this Pugna is going to have no trouble at all. Like, they need both the Naga and the Ancient Apparition to do anything about this Pugna. And otherwise he's going to be really annoying. You could even have a rotation from the Tusk, and they could quite easily kill off the Ancient Apparition in that offlane. So I am definitely favoring the Clutch lineup here, and they are up one game. So looking like they might be facing up against Fnatic a little bit later on here in the MDL SEA qualifiers, but we'll see. Maybe you do sometimes see Void just have a completely crazy game. GeekFam, what's going on here? So they do have the Tiny coming down towards bottom at the moment with the Void. I think they're just trying to get some scouting information, see if Clutch are going aggro or anything like that. Pretty sneaky from Clutch. Smoke from the low ground, get this ward up on the high ground, get some scouting information without revealing anything themselves. And Void even going to come poking his nose, or his lack of a nose, up onto the high ground. He needs to be careful. Level 1 time walk having the cooldown that it does. But alright, he's okay. Both teams snagging a little bit of information. Mass pings from the
30 seconds
from the
battle.
Dire side, but there's no ward planted here. 2 Radiant Obs already both down. So it looks like Clutch. Alright, yeah, just pretty standard stuff. Aframush gonna be roaming around. Defensive dual lane. Y'all already picking up his sentry ward, hoping to maintain control over his small camp so that he can get some pulls going, get some levels for himself. The Lifestealer's not really going to need too much help, I don't think. GeekFam are actually going kind of pseudo aggro here, and they only end up getting the 1 bounty. Did they think it was going to be an aggro tri-lane from Clutch, or do they feel like they can actually put pressure onto this Lifestealer? I don't know if they can actually put pressure onto this Lifestealer. I guess maybe they just want some more farm in their Tiny. Get him out of the early game a little bit better, but that is going to come at the cost of their Faceless Void, so we shall see how Skid farms up here. Waves under the tower a little bit. This is not the most interesting matchup in the world, and looks like Klopp only going to get 2 out of 4 in this first wave. But it looks like Faded won't really... Well, he'll probably do a little bit better with this Quelling Blade. We'll see how he does under the tower. Oh, nice deny. And alright, he only gets 1. So pretty low CS game so far. They do give the Naga Siren over to the Tiny here, so it's just dual lanes from GeekFam. Aframush hanging around, just going to be body blocking up that small camp just to make sure that the lane stays kind of in this position. The Skylark's already been blasting it, so it is going to push back towards the other team pretty much no matter what. Y'all hoping for a pull. We're just gonna get interrupted, though. Ancient Apparition gonna take some extra damage as he gets stunned up next to those pesky neutrals. Oh. Alright, Aframush making his presence known down here at bottom. They're actually gonna get the block in with all of these creeps. March is in some trouble. He's tangoing up, he's got that little bit of regen, but still taking big damage, and now his own creeps are blocking him. Skylark might even be able to get off one last blast. Looks like that should be all that they need. And Aframush gets the first blood. Alright, not enough respect given to the creep wave. And Clutch Gamers looking good so far. Top lane, I mean, the Void is doing alright in terms of CS. He's going to be forced to time walk his way over into the trees. The stun's still going to connect on him. And now he's just going to get run down. Y'all only level 1, but still only 5 seconds to go until we get another stun. Well, they keep up the chase, but alright. He's going to be okay with the salve. Down bottom, they would like to make a go on Skylark, but he's already got some boots. He's pretty speedy. Oh man, if GeekFam don't get anything out of these lanes, this could be a very quick game. If Pugna gets out of control, it's just going to get ugly. Why do I keep... I shouldn't even click on mid. It's not even interesting. Top lane, they are just kind of leaving the void. They're going to be coming back up, but Ajit's starting to pull ahead of him a little bit in terms of CS. Trying to make a go over onto Aframush, but they've only got an avalanche. Can't really get those auto attacks out. March still has some tree grab charges. Needs to be a little bit careful. Aframush might get locked down. Yeah, the avalanche just barely clipping, and they've also got the toss. One more auto attack from the Naga will do it. Skylark, not enough mana to find any kind of a turnaround. Nicely done by GeekFam. I don't know. I think Tusk could have just ran away, but chose to stick around and fight a little bit longer, and will end up paying with his life. At least March is finding some fun. We saw what happened in the earlier series, where if Tiny just gets nothing in the early game, it's so hard for him to play. Getting cold feeted up, but no chance that they really get that kill without some very well-timed bashes. Skid has already picked up the 1 point in the time dilation, giving them a little bit more kill potential, but more harassment. The Naga did end up heading back to base, so CG putting a bit of pressure on while he's away. Skylark running a little bit low on mana, unfortunately. He does still have a mango, but I don't think he wants to use that one. And at the mid lane, Dragon Knight a little bit ahead of the Queen of Pain in terms of the experience situation. Not too far ahead, but still. Also a tiny bit ahead on CS. This is a kind of a weird game. The position 1 and position 3 are kind of blurring together on both sides, and it kind of feels like both teams are going to end up with 3 position 2s. Trying for this kill on the Queen of Pain. She can get the blink off. No, won't be able to. Aframush with that double damage auto attack. A little bit too much. Nicely done on that rotation. I guess he must have just come out of the fog. Like, they have this ward, but no chance to react. Alright, Void is trying to interrupt pulls at this point, because I guess they feel like they can't contest the lane anymore. I'm not sure what they do. Like, does Void get 6 and then try and rotate, or do they just keep holding their lanes the way that they currently are? I don't think that's really accomplishing much for them. Or they seem to be falling behind across all 3 lanes, so something's got to give. They do get back out with some wards a tiny bit earlier than Clutch, but Aframush also coming in here with some observers of his own. Let's get scattered out. You know that he's hanging around in the mid lane. Faded a little bit low, but could maybe back up to this shrine to heal before too long if he needs it. Nice ward placement. Is going to scout Aframush and scout the fact that he popped down an observer ward here. So that should be a fairly straightforward D ward as they are. Okay, this is the play now. 2 supports grouping up, gonna try and make something happen. It's only level 2 on the Ancient Apparition, but they do have the net. Should be enough to get the cold feet along with the chilling touch. Looks like unfortunately they might only find the Tusk kill though. Dragon Knight is making his way down bottom to try and find this tier 1 tower push. And yeah, GeekFam not really gonna get anything. They might be able to shove towards the tier 1 tower themselves. Looks like that's maybe the plan for the Queen of Pain. Doesn't have TP just yet. So what are they doing? Are they going to run all the way down bottom?
Radiant's bottom tower is under
They do have the
attack.
Sonic Wave up.
Radiant
No boots on Quap.
structures are fortified.
Looks like he wants to just hold up his TP instead and potentially pressure mid, but Siege Wagon already dead. And all of that, last couple of minutes, I think just working out better for Clutch. Getting a little bit more farm out of it, pulling ahead on the net worth. It was the right idea for GeekFam. They know that they're not really winning their lanes at the moment, so it's worth it for the supports to go and try and rotate and change the status quo, but just having a hard time with things. Tiny doing decently on CS, but still gonna be grabbing little items before he goes in for the blink. Skid a bit behind the Lifestealer in terms of farm. We got some treads up for Ajit. Not really clear just yet what exactly he's gonna be going for. Y'all with the backstab. Coming around, Skid. They're just waiting for the time walk. They're gonna hex him up. Might even be able to burst him before he gets the time walk off. Oh, y'all trying to get the full stun duration. That was a little bit awkward. Also nicely played by Skid, kind of just continuing to walk, forcing them to keep going on him a little bit. He's got the time walk back up in a couple of seconds, leading them on a merry chase. There's still action about to happen bottom, it looks like, and I think this Void is more than likely fine. They get the toss back onto Skylark, straight into the net. He is going to try and save himself, but with that snowball, actually can't even get dragged into the snowball. Oh, he's rooted. Wait, can you not get dragged in if you're rooted? I know that you can't snowball yourself. Afromoosh, well, he's also dead. March going to pick up a double, and that is some very nice Blink Dagger funds for GeekFam. They weren't successful on that mid rotation, but bot rotation works out great, and they are going to put a bit of a dent in that network advantage.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah. Pugna brought down. How much damage did they get on that bottom tier 1? Not all that much. Kind of held off that rotation pretty well. Yo getting run at. Pops also up here, gets immediately hexed. They need to be careful. There's quite a bit of burst. Does have a double damage rune. Try to turn things around. They've also got the snowball stun at the ready. Now coming through. They do end up losing the Lion, but down goes the Quap. And Ajit still in fighting shape. Looks like they might end up losing Afromoosh. Couple of bashes from Skid. He does have a time walk to be able to get forward. Afromoosh gonna salve himself back up. And they actually turn their attention now towards the Void. Forcing at the time walk. Ajit just escorting Naga all the way back to her side of the map. Can't really find that kill. Faded now looking towards March. Skylark doesn't have the life drain, and March just gonna go for the TP out. Bit too tiny, bit too tanky on Tiny. Alright, Void actually died top. They still found him in the end. I don't know if he stuck around a little bit too long. The Lion wasn't even anywhere nearby, but down he goes. So with that, Clutch still holding on to their little bit of a net worth lead. Y'all getting some farm time over at mid once this Finger of Death up and ready to go. Second DK ultimate gonna yield a little bit more damage at this bottom tier 1, but not too much. Really unfortunate that the Queen of Pain makes that first rotation, only kills the Lion and then dies. March, nice toss back. We want this kill on the Lion, but Afromoosh goes chasing with the snowball, and instead it's actually going to be the Nagasaran who's brought down. Tiny with the toss away, can't keep putting damage onto the target. Just making life harder for himself. GeekFam being a little bit too cute. I think that's been a theme of this series so far. Like that gank that they went for over here with the song and all that. They're just, I guess, not quite thinking things all the way through, it feels like. And it feels like both games Clutch have kind of had the easier to execute lineup. Skylark just going to be going for an Aether Lens here. Faded, straight into some drums. No commitment just yet really in terms of his build. March still on the warpath, rotating around, trying to make plays happen. They do have the Chronosphere ready, but Lifestealer relatively tanky. Is going for the Radiance build this game. Slightly slower, but pace of the game for his team seems to be just fine. Queen of Pain trying to find a little bit of recovery farm over in the jungle. It's just going to be rushing the Orchid.
Radiant are scanning.
Pretty handy to have. The two supports
attack.
should be easy solo kills at that point. Mass TP is down bottom. Clutch Gamers don't actually have everybody here. They will be able to get the net off. Alright, Tier 1 tower down. They're turning things around a little bit onto the Nagasaran. She takes some big damage. Quap also going to end up dying over at mid. Faded still fighting. got the auto attacks. He actually gets decrept. Oh, unfortunately, looks like the Naga Siren might survive. Ancient Apparition, he gets chased down in the trees. He'll be finished off. And GeekFam losing 2 heroes across the map. Oh, Skylark even finds the Naga inside of the trees. That is an absolute disaster. I think did they have better numbers at both of those fights and still couldn't win either of them? No, I guess maybe Queen of Pain was alone at mid. But Quap gets killed by 3 heroes at mid. 2 heroes bottom fight off 3. GeekFam lacking a little bit of damage without the Queen of Pain, especially with this poverty void. Look at this poor guy. Doesn't even have his completed Aquila. Doesn't even have treads. We're 12 minutes into the game. This was the concern with the void pick. I think it kind of fits with the lineup and there's the synergy there, but it's just slow. And they didn't really have a good way to run these lanes. They are so reliant on March starting to take over the game on his Tiny. But still 600 gold away from the blink. And no chrono used just yet. Skid runs straight into a bunch of heroes up here on the high ground. He's just gonna get bursted down. Looks like the Finger of Death used a little bit earlier to kill off the Queen of Pain, but they don't even need it. And Void continuing to live a very sad life. Quap does get the blink backwards, but the snowball chases. Aframoosh already used the punch. Can they finish this kill? Looks like the urn might just do it. Aframoosh with the shards will secure it. Faded, still pretty tanky. March chasing up. Y'all also in the neighborhood. Gets the Breeze Fire off. Gonna reduce the damage from the Tiny a little bit. Faded did get hit by the Ice Blast, but he's still quite tanky, and they're gonna hide him inside of the snowball. They've got the Void now returning to this fight. Might actually be able to get off a Chrono, but Skylark also in the area, and that's just gonna set up the Chronosphere onto the Tiny. He goes down. Skid doesn't get a single kill. Somebody report this man. And GeekFam continuing to just fall apart. Faded healing up plenty with the 4 points in the Dragon's Blood. He's just fine. Didn't have any damage that they could pump into that Chrono. And now we're looking at a 7k lead for Clutch Gamers, only 13 minutes in. And we haven't even had the Lifestealer get involved at all yet. It feels like Clutch have been winning this game 4v5. We got the Ice Blast sailing in now at mid. Is this going to be enough burst damage? They're looking for the Snowball. They dodged nicely, and actually looks like that's going to be enough for Clutch to survive and find the turnaround. They lose the Naga Siren. Now Ollie getting chased down. March forced to commit. Goes at the Avatar's combination, but now he's the one who's caught. Y'all comes in from the high ground. He's got the chain lockdown. Skylark still just spamming these Nether Blasts like there's no tomorrow. Quap knows that the Sonic Wave isn't going to find a single kill, so doesn't even use it. Oh, that snowball from Aframoosh was so sick. And the snowball from Clutch feels completely unstoppable at this point. The Quap is having... Like, the Quap's having no game. The Void isn't having a game. Got it. And Tiny is having half of a game, but until he gets his Blink Dagger, that's all he's gonna have.
Top tower is under attack.
Oh man. Dragon Knight almost has his Blink, so maybe see some Infest ganks shortly after that. Pugna already with the Aether Lens and going straight into a Veil after that. I'm a little bit surprised not to see something like a Yule's or a Force Staff instead. I think they have more than enough damage, so I don't really know about this, but
Dire are scanning.
Still pretty useful. There's some synergy there. Nice to have the Veil with the Lion. Speaking of Lion, goodbye to Naga Siren down bottom. Y'all gonna secure that one easily for himself. Get some more Blink money. Skid doesn't have the Chrono just yet. Mark hiding around the corner. They are gonna be able to go on Skylark. They pop everything. They just want to burst down this Pugna. They want that gold. And March will get the killing spree. So, alright. Blink Dagger getting that one step closer. But this Blink Dagger isn't even going to outrace the Radiance on the Lifestealer. And that's another thing to mention about the Radiance. It is actually going to make life a little bit more difficult for the Tiny to get into these backlines. Faded is even thinking about some kind of initiation up here. Maybe any +1 on the Void. Who even has a TP available? Pretty much everybody. Blinks into the trees, I guess kind of pretending that he maybe TP'd. But holding onto his TP all the while. Tier 1 tower is not going to be going anywhere. And Ajit just needs to wait for the courier for his Radiance to live. Now they're going to jump in, they get the punch, they got the snowball through, they've got more than enough lockdown for that Queen of Pain. Y'all's positioning has been so nice on the line.
Radiant's bottom
I don't know why they
tower
picked the
is under
Quap so
attack.
early. Why did they pick the Quap third? What were they expecting? There was always going to be a Lion or a Disruptor coming out. Aframush gets comboed, but he's tanky enough that he just walks that off. And even still has the Snowball and the Blink Dagger. He's going to be A-okay. I think that's even the Blink Dagger revealed for the Tiny, doing basically nothing. Clutch Gamer's now just playing together. Got a double damage on this Dragonite, a 10k net worth lead, and their sights set on very easily taking out this tier 2. GeekFam come running forward. The Void does have the Chronosphere. They're going to jump in, get some initiation over onto the Lifestealer, but get into the back lines. They've locked down the Void. He's going to try and turn this one around. Aframush, can he get the Snowball off in time? I think he might even be able to. Okay, the Chrono now comes out, along with the Ice Blast follow-up. They're focusing on March, though. Ajit's looking just fine. Faded also dragged him to the Snowball. They're locking down Skid. A couple more auto attacks to finish him off. He does manage to get down to the low ground, but they've used all of their ultimates. They've used all of their damage. Ice Shard's going to keep Skid pinned. He does just barely manage to jump into the base. But Clutch still in fighting shape. They're healing back up. Ajit's even got a salve. And Clutch can go do whatever they want. They could easily swing over to mid, go and take that tier 2. Song's down for 2 minutes. Quap ult down for almost 2 minutes. Ice Blast's going to be back up soon, but Void ult also on that list. And yeah, Clutch can just go grab some more objectives. Looks like they're going to swap all the way over towards top. Got that Veil now finished for Skylark. Not that they're wanting for damage. Faded just going to be going for a BKB. He is going to be the one on the front lines for the most part, so very sensible choice. And once he gets that, GeekFam, same kind of problem as the earlier series with Fnatic versus Echo Int. What do you do once BKBs come up? Pretty much no damage. Feels like the answer. Jump in, got the initiation on the mark. He's pretty tanky, but the Lifestealer's making quick work of him. They do get the toss away, but not gonna help. The Lifestealer's raged up, Faded chasing in. They get the Naga Siren. Queen of Pain still trying to cobble together this Orchid, but no farm to be had. The Tusk is now more farmed than anybody on the GeekFam side. And what do you do? Clutch might even... Do they even go high ground here? They don't have to. I would guess that they probably just chill out. The ults are going to be back up in about 30 seconds time, so still have to give some respect to the GeekFam side. But they are just so far ahead. They're getting tankier and tankier as time goes on. They've got all these initiation items.
Dire's structures are fortified.
GeekFam still lacking items that make their heroes even remotely playable. What's the plan? They're gonna go for a smoke. Try and do something with this next round of ultimates. Who do they see? That's the big question. Midwave getting pushed in. This is about to be a little bit suspicious. It is a 5-man smoke. Clutch also smoking up. They were just hoping for like a singleton pick-off with the 2 supports. They've got the Finger of Death back off cooldown. Faded is the one who is going to end up being jumped. Looks like he will be bursted down. They don't want to commit too much for this. Ice Blast will fly. They net him down, and they will grab that kill without too much fanfare. They now spot Aframush and Y'all up on the high ground. Can they burst this Void? They might actually be able to, and they do. Chronosphere removed from this fight, and now Skylark also coming across. Needs to be a little bit careful. This is a somewhat split fight for Clutch. They don't have their Lifestealer there just yet, but he will be TPing down. And they're still trying to see what they can grab. Y'all's on the other side, getting some vision down. Oli just going to be going for the TP out. Can they get the stun onto the Quap? Won't be able to. Y'all had to go for that one blind, it looks like. Didn't have vision through the trees. They get the Hex onto the Naga Siren, and it looks like he's going to be the one left for dead. No point in popping the song for this. And it will be Ajit who actually grabs the last hit with the Radiance tick.
Worthy tribute.
What do they do with this? They still have an AoE teamfight combo. They still have some kind of hope, but I feel like that hope is dwindling as these cores just get more and more tanky. Lifestealer picking up the Sanj. We'll have an SNY before too long. Skylark is going to be going for... I love this item, this decision, actually. Just go for an Aeon Disc. Why not? And you're not going to die to the Tiny combo at that point. You're not going to die to getting Chrono Ice Blasted. Just secure yourself the opportunity to be able to get your spells off. What's Tiny going for? He's going back for a Shadow Blade. So the ultimate humiliation now would be if Lion somehow also ends up being more farmed than anybody on GeekFam. And it could very well happen. Y'all leading the way up onto this high ground. Geek trying to grab their first tier 1 tower of the game. Almost 22 minutes in. Looks like they will be able to grab it. With everybody standing behind. They've got everybody standing behind the Quap. They've got Naga Illusion scouting. It's good play, but it just speaks volumes about the position that they're in. And Lifestealer. Alright, into the Thunderhide, why not? Maybe we'll see some frenzied catapults or something. They definitely do not have the damage to kill this Thunderhide, so he can just go scouting. Walk up onto the high ground, they get the scan connection, they see the Faceless Void, but there's nothing that he can really do. And they will end up losing their mid-tier 2 tower. Keeping eyes on this Void. He needs to be careful. There's a blink forward. He's already used the time walk. Skid's now going to get locked down. Aftermove still has the snowball stun. March looking to turn this one around. Oh, Skid gets the time walk off, but the snowball chases after him. Aftermoosh is going to get clipped by that. March now stunned up. Skylark is going to get hit by the Orchid. They popped the song just to try and disengage. That's a lot being used, and with no Void, they don't really have anything that they're setting up for. All that's going to end up doing is saving the Tiny's life. Also, the Orchid being revealed. So, Clutch, now knowing about that, Afrobush probably going to be thinking, alright, I need to make sure that I'm ready to snowball save if my Pugna gets jumped or something on those lines. Clutch, straight into the pit. Song's down. This is potentially a somewhat treacherous Roshan, but they got plenty of damage. Gotta be careful of the Ice Blasts, Naga Illusions to scout. Faceless Void getting over there and dropping a Chronosphere could be very worrying. But at least they can keep these lanes pushed out. And they can use the Dragon Knight to tank it, so they're not really losing too much health. Afromoosh also ready to block off this ramp if need be. They're actually just going to go for the Fast. Smoked is GeekFam heading around the opposite side, trying to maintain control of the high ground, taking the less expected path. They know that their smoke hasn't broken just yet, so they know that nobody's inside of the pit. They're just going to body check it as well with Skid, and now they're going to take the even longer path going all the way around. Clutch are splitting up somewhat. Y'all's all the way over here, Afromoosh over on the opposite high ground. They don't just want to jump Y'all. Radiant Scan going to reveal that there's nobody here, so both teams taking the opposite side. And who will end up finding who? They know that the Lion is just down here on the low ground, but their waves are getting pushed into their base. This is about to become very obvious what's going on. And Clutch Gamers... What are they doing? What are they thinking at the moment? I guess they have to know at this point that GeekFam are kind of on their side of the map. Have they seen them yet? Still no. Still have this infest going. Faded, gonna pop the ult. He's got the blink at the ready. Who will he find? Nobody. Just Naga. This is getting very awkward. I think at this point, if you're Pugna, you just go start blasting their base a little bit. Force a TP back. I think they've realized now. Yeah, Afromoosh scouts them up on the high ground. Nice blink down onto the low ground. Blink against blink against blink. Do they have the net just yet? They do. They don't have the song, though. They won't be able to protect their Tiny. Skylar taking damage, but it's not enough to kill him. They now finally managed to drop the Chronosphere. Ice Blast also there, but Queen of Pain will also end up falling. They drop a couple of buybacks. Skylark buying back. Now Naga going to end up using the song just to try and TP home. But another successful teamfight win for Clutch. Tiny buying back just to push out the mid wave a little bit, and Clutch Gaming, are they just going to go for the Roshan? They're so far ahead that I feel like they're not actually sure what they should do. They can just keep getting further ahead. I don't know if GeekFam like reach a point where, unless they get a bunch of items, which is the only way that they're going to get that is by winning a bunch of team fights. There's still really no way for them to come back into this game. I still don't know why they picked the co-op so early. What is the purpose of that King of Pain pick? Ice Blast's going to come in here and be a little bit annoying, but not really too much of a concern. And soon we're going to have an Aegis Lifestealer ready to siege the high ground. He already wasn't dying inside of the Chronosphere to begin with, so I don't know what their plan is after that. Ajit even going to be picking up a Manta style here. Helpful against the Orchid, helpful against the Ensnare, but also potentially useful with the Radiance to be able to, you know, keep the other lanes pushed out, grab a little bit of additional farm, hold on to his #1 spot on net worth. GeekFam doing everything that they can to split, try and get some more tier 1 tower gold going their way. Faded needs to be careful about not getting tossed back. Arch doing his best to clear the wave. Yeah, they're throwing everything that they have to clear the wave, but they're actually even gonna get some glyph creeps up onto the high ground. They jump straight into the Naga Siren, a couple more auto attacks. Ajit beyond godlike streak as they now turn their attention towards the tier 3. Tier 1 does fall down bottom, but Geek's still missing some crucial spells before they can take this team fight. 8 seconds to go on the Chronosphere. And Skylark just hanging all the way back, spamming those Nether Blasts. Got the Nether Ward. Alright, they're now heading back. What can they do?
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Melee barracks falling. A couple more auto attacks gonna do it. Clutch at that point, maybe even swing over towards top if they so desire. Oh, they're gonna get the toss back onto the Lifestealer, but he's still got rage. He's gonna be A-okay. March making some cute plays with the Shadow Amulet, but that's all it is. They're just playing around with them a little bit. No chance of finding that kill on the Lifestealer. And Clutch looking to just lock in cruise control to close this game out. Alright, GeekFam smoke out. They de-warded their base. They know that they're not detected. I think this is potentially one last hurrah for them.
Radiant's top shrine is under attack.
Just hoping to find somebody. They're gonna try and play to their vision, but they don't see anyone. Smoke can end up being broken. They spot Skylark. Difficult to go on him, and now Dragon Knight with the initiation himself. Naga Siren won't be able to get anything off. She's already dead. Chronosphere does get dropped onto 2, but what damage can they actually do to BKB Dragon Knight? He's still pretty tanky. He turns around, now he stuns up the Void, and he won't even get out of that first stun before he drops. March trying to hide inside of the pit. Oh, he does get pushed up onto the high ground by the shards, but Aframush continues to give pursuit. They see him, but they can't stun him. They will instead look for this secondary kill on the Naga Siren. Naga dead twice. Clutch Gamers just gonna waltz on up into the GeekFam base. And they do end up losing their courier to March, who is absolutely doing everything that he can in this game, but too little too late, and Clutch going to easily come and grab a secondary lane of Brax. There are buybacks on these GeekFam heroes, but with no Chronosphere, there's no team fight. And even when there is a Chronosphere, there's no team fight.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Looks like they are just
left
to just sort of sit there and do whatever little combos they can. Nice snowball save. Tiny's going to be brought down in just a second. Do they have any detection? It would appear that they do not, but it doesn't even matter as the infest damage is enough. Ajit continuing his beyond godlike streak. That Manta style coming in useful as they now look for this Oli kill. Naga-san trying to save him with the song, but it's not going to do anything as Faded and Yol also finding the Void inside of the trees, killing him off. They're now diving the Fountain. Taz gonna get decrapped. Is he also gonna get stunned? Unable to get the snowball off, unfortunately, because of the root. And he will die inside of the enemy fountain. Clutch not BMing too hard. Are gonna come and grab the Mega Creeps and look to close this one out. I don't know what's up. I guess GeekFam not willing to call GG. Just that kind of team. Is Skylark gonna deny himself? No. Just giving Faded some help. Ajit still has the Aegis for a little bit longer. And yeah, there you go. Third lane of Rax coming up. With the Dragon Tail, tossing the Naga Siren forward. Bang. Might be able to find this DK kill. Nice Chronosphere, actually going to catch both of them. I think they will end up losing the Dragon Knight. He's also getting caught by the Ice Blast, but faces Void. Now in some trouble. Finger and a couple more auto attacks bring him down. The streak continues for the Lifestealer as he infests his own illusion to make the style points escape. What's happening elsewhere? Just dealing with creeps pushing into the base. Rage back off cooldown. Should be able to use that to secure this final lane of Rax. Buyback now going to be coming in from the Void. They try to go for the Lion, and they will manage to do so with that final Scream. Odd shit. Aegis close to being reclaimed. Needs to be a little bit careful, though they do already have Mega Creeps, so I don't know if they're too concerned. The Aegis getting reclaimed right as he gets tossed back. He's now actually in a little bit of trouble. Ajit, that streak is on the line. They also silence up Aframush. He won't be able to get the snowball off. GeekFam now finding some kills. Triple for the Queen of Pain. Should be an Ultra, it looks like. Oh, nope. Nice blink away from Aframush. Still chasing, though. Ice Shard's up onto the high ground. Very nicely done. And away he goes. Blink back off cooldown soon.
In strength is victory.
Even in the face of Mega Creeps, GeekFam are still defending. I have to admire their tenacity, but even losing this game and losing this series, they are not out of the competition. Not only is the group stage double elimination... Oh, what happened, Quad? Alright, finally GG called this. They lose 2 more heroes in the river. But even losing this game and losing this series, they are not eliminated here from MDL SEA qualifiers. The group stage is double elimination, and the group stage is only seeding as well. Nobody is eliminated out of the group stage. So, Clutch Gamers are going to be advancing forward to play up against Fnatic in the next round. That match isn't scheduled to start for a couple of hours, but I would guess that it's just going to be played as soon as the 2 teams are ready. So I'll leave the stream up and I'll update you guys as best as I can in the chat with how full the lobby is. But given that this series has moved forward, I would guess that if Fnatic are free and Clutch Gamers are willing, I'm sure Clutch Gamers are entitled to at least a little bit of a break if they want one, then the series will be proceeding. But I don't have too much more information. It'll be a little bit touch and go. Keep your eye on social media, keep an eye on the chat, and the stream will be live, so I'll jump on the mic if I have any updates to give you guys. But very straightforward victory from Clutch. Some nice drafting, a couple of slightly interesting heroes getting brought out. Saw the Slark in the first game, saw the Pugnet in the second. As I was saying, it did seem like GeekFam were potentially playing with a stand-in, so not their full strength, unfortunately for them. But we'll see how Clutch do against Fnatic in the next series. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you're enjoying it. I believe GESC is probably still going on at the moment, and I think that they are now also streaming... Actually, I don't know if GESC is still going on, but I think we're also streaming Group A of this competition over on Beyond the Summit 3, I want to say. So there's more SEA qualifier action going on if you want to go and find it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys soon for Clutch Gamers versus Fnatic.